Good afternoon. Can all of you hear me? Yes. Okay. So first of all, I've heard a lot about Target Elevate events earlier. I haven't been part of it, so it's an absolute pleasure and privilege to be here. I'm going to take the next few minutes and going to talk to you about how I managed to overcome failure and come back to what I'm doing today. I did my first startup in the year 1999 when the word startup was not known, right? Today everybody starts up. In 99, we just started a new company. 20 years later, we were told that you did a startup. We said, okay. But what we learned is that it's not an easy place to start up India. Everybody is starting up, but a really difficult place. And just to tell you that I've had multiple experiences as a startup, in 99, co-founded India's first e-commerce company. 2002, co-founded a chain of grocery supermarkets called Fab Mall. Later got acquired by Aditya Birla Group. It's called More. Very successful exit. And I never failed to mention the success because I talk about failure and everybody thinks I keep failing at everything. So law of averages works everywhere. Even for me, there's success. But my third venture, which was India Plaza, did reasonably well, grew till about 2013. Then we ran into multiple issues, and we couldn't proceed forward. And that's when I realized that India is a great place to start up, but you can't fail. Because when you fail, as Indians, and I think it's a cultural issue, we worship success. We love people who are successful. We praise them to the skies. We make them gods. And obviously in a room like this, goddesses. And on the other hand, we absolutely hate people who fail. My company went down. It tanked. The company owed a lot of money to creators, not me. And then I went through extremely difficult periods. I spent 3 nights at Alsur police station. It's down the road, not too far from here. So even now people ask me, where do you live in Bangalore? I say Alsur. But that's my home. Even when I was not at home, I was still in Alsur. Not a great experience because one vendor to whom the company owed money filed a case against me for cheating. And in India, it's very easy to manipulate the system and make sure cases are filed. I had a vendor from Delhi who came and met me. Normally when we meet people these days, we pull out our phone, put it on the table and talk. This guy pulled out a dagger and put it on the table and very politely said, if you don't give us the money that you owe, not me, my company, he said, we find ways to recover it. And like that, a series of absolute distressing incidents, my dignity got stripped from me. And the climax was, there was even a social media call asking people to sexually molest my wife. And that's when I decided nothing is worth it. You must have all heard of the story of Vijay Siddharth from Coffee Day, took his own life. The next day, Times of India carried a big piece, first person, written by me because I was not too far from that. Obviously, I didn't, otherwise somebody else will be speaking here today. But clearly, in India, if you fail, you're just destroyed. And it took me a long, long time to recover. Multiple incidents happened. A mint Mint wrote an article about me, talking about my failure, not my success, talking about my failures. I was invited by the Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, to deliver a course, and I continue to deliver that on corporate failures. And out of that, I even wrote a book called Failing to Succeed. A lot of people who started e-commerce companies ended up making billions of dollars. I wrote a book. Okay. But the biggest learning thing that happened to me is one day some guests came home. Somebody in their family had just delivered a baby. The infant baby was trying to walk. And as we were sitting around, the baby was trying to walk. She gets up, she falls. Then she struggles, somehow gets up and falls, and just keeps on doing it till she gets tired. And obviously, she walked. All of us have done that. And then I realized that if this baby could get up and walk every single time, what could be the secret that we are not able to get up? And I realized the most important thing that the baby is not able to understand failure. Baby thinks this is the way to walk. And I said, if we can absorb that and say that, every time you get up, you fall. And every time you fall, if you're able to get up one more time, life will just go on. You can make peace with any failure. It just really doesn't matter. And this quote is quite appropriate. I don't know whether he wrote this after I discovered this or before, but I didn't want to put my name for a quote, so I put his, but this is my idea. And out of those failures, I got multiple things that I learned, and I'm going to share some of them, only some of them, not all, for two reasons. One, there's a clock that's ticking like crazy, and two, I don't remember all of them. Okay, so just a few. The first one is that we must learn from failures because it teaches you everything that success can't. And the reason success can't teach you anything is because none of us make the effort to learn from success. It's not that success doesn't teach you, it does. But what we do is whenever we succeed at anything, we don't ask ourselves why we succeeded. And even if we do, as smart people, we say, okay, the reason I succeeded is because I'm very smart. And hence, the only way you can learn from failure is because it teaches you so much that a success can't. Very, very important. Keep learning, because if you don't fail, you're not going to learn. There's a saying, behind every successful man, there is a woman. In a room like this, totally sexist, politically correct, behind every successful woman, there is a man. Both are wrong. I think the real saying is behind every successful person is millions and millions of failures. Because if people don't fail, you will never value success. And I'll give you an example. Let's take Mithali Raj. You know her, a cricketer, very successful. I think she's inspired millions of young school girls in India wanting to play like her. But her success is not because of the way she plays. Her success is because all those millions of kids are not able to play like her. That's the key. If every single girl out there can bat like her, what's the big deal, right? If we tried everything and succeeded at everything, you want to make a movie, write a book, create music, be an athlete, be an entrepreneur, be a businessman, be a politician. If you succeed at everything, and everybody succeeds at everything, there's no value to failure. So remember, every time you look at that person on stage, please don't look here. Look at stage and say, here's this successful person. Remember that behind, backstage, there's a big gap there, millions of people have failed. That's what drives a successful person up front. Unless many, many people fail, there is no value to success. And as I was writing this book called Failing to Succeed, and I'm not going to read too much from the book and all that because I want ideally to all of you to buy a copy. But while researching on failures, I came across multiple things, and I found this the most appropriate because it does two things. It allows me, whenever I come to a room like this and talk about failures, to also look at all of you and say, all of you have failed. So suddenly I'm saying, okay, I'm not alone here. But jokes aside, I think it is true. The most successful people are those who have failed at something. All of us know the few things that Thomas Alva Edison invented. But he also tried to invent 10,000 things that did not work. And people have asked him, saying, you failed. He said, I haven't failed. I have found 10,000 things that don't work. And you must also remember that every time you want to go, remember you can do anything you want. Your only restriction to your ability is your mind. Try it, you'll fail. It doesn't matter. Till you fail, you can't move ahead. Out of those failures will come the success. And out of those failures will drive your success. And what happens when you come to events like this? I see a lot of people saying, hi, how are you? Pick up the phone. I'm sure you will get a call, hi, how are you? We're not even waiting for an answer these days because just like a form of greeting. So at events like this, I wish you great success. Everybody will tell you, it's not that they don't mean it. It's just that there's no value to it because everybody says it. I'm a true well-wisher to all of you. And hence, I wish you all failure. Because only if you fail, you will succeed. And for that success that all of you will definitely achieve, I wish you good luck and Godspeed. Thank you.